And big game, I'll start with you. Clippers just played better. Lakers struggled to match that energy throughout the game. And it was an uphill battle the whole time.
It was from the beginning, Geeter. You know, anytime you have one of these back-to-back games after a long road trip, you know, it's somewhat of a trap game, and you really have to have mind over matter. And the Lakers didn't have the mental fortitude early to match the Clippers' energy, you know, and the Clippers came out hot from the three. Sixth man of the year, I can't think of his name right now. He got really hot, almost unstoppable. And the Lakers just didn't really have the energy. I'm not making an excuse because all NBA teams have similar schedules and they have to overcome it, but they looked a little bit weary, a little tired. And the Clippers, you know, played a really good game. They got hot. They took advantage of some matchups that they had, and they won the game.
And where they really took advantage, it seemed like, Rob, was the beginning of the game. That energy that they came out with was great. They got that 15-4 lead. Even though the Lakers came back and touched it just for a second round, 27-26, then the Clippers went on that other big run. I mean, that 19-point lead in the first half was everything, it seemed like.
Yeah, you know, that's the point I was going to make. If you watch this game, and it's like the Clippers was salivating. The Lakers came in. It's like sometimes when you come off this road trip, it's kind of hard to get that rhythm back because your legs are tired. And then by the second quarter, that's when basketball kicks in. And if you look at the game, the Lakers won the second half.
Yeah,
it's just that first half they got smacked in the face. They got a haymaker, and they couldn't get back from that. You know, so if you look at this game, you're like Kawhi was in the first half. And then Norman Powell was in the second half. And they just couldn't find the answer because LeBron pretty much, you know, handled Kawhi in the second half, but Norman Powell got loose. And that was the problem was. It's like, who do you stop? You stop the star, but you can't let the others step up.
Yeah, Brez, Norman Powell finished with 27 off the bench. He was 10 for 10 from the free throw line, 8 for 15. Bones Highland got hot with 3 threes. Kawhi, 25.
Yeah, you know, you look at the Lakers last night. They're in Utah. They go to OT. 3 starters play 42 minutes. They get back early this morning at about 3 or 4 a.m. You need the bench to have a good night. That didn't happen. Schroeder, 2 points. Rui, who'd been playing better the last week or so, he had only 4 points. Powell, you mentioned him, 27 points. He outscored the Laker bench all by himself. So you really needed the backups to come up tonight and say, hey, we're going to help try to get us in that top 6. Now that they lost, it's very likely the Lakers will be in the 7-8 play-in game. Still, some things could change. The Lakers could sneak back into that top 6. Tough one tonight, though, no doubt about it. They look tired, period.
Let's talk a little Norman Powell. I know you're impressed with him, big game, James.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, he's on a mission. He understands what his role is. Ty Lue has given him the reign when he comes into the game to do what he does. He did everything he wanted to do, and the Lakers just didn't have the physical energy on the defensive end to match what he had to bring.
You know, this guy has been talked about for Sixth Man of the Year. You know, when he was in Portland, he was putting up numbers. And everywhere he's gone, he's put up numbers. And when he got to the Clippers, you know, he started a couple games, and now he started coming off the bench. He's kind of accepted that role. Now he stepped into that role of coming off the bench. Now he's scoring 16 points a game. He's doing exactly what they need. You know, it kind of reminded me of Jay Crossover when he used to play for the Clippers. He used to came out and give him that spark off the bench and give him the points. Even though he could be a starter, they need that punch off the bench.
Brez, were you surprised? Kawhi, 43 minutes, and he played the entire second half.
Yeah, you think the Clippers won this game? I mean, they've won 11 in a row against the Lakers. I think the Clips, this was their statement. We do want to be in that top 6, whatever it takes. Yeah. Kawhi playing all 24 in the second half. You know, that's going to, the Clippers are going to be okay if he does play a lot of minutes. I'm not sure you really want that, though. Guys, should we be a little concerned, just a little bit, about the Laker defense? Last night, surrendered 133 points to a Utah team. You know, the game went to OT, but not a lot of starters for the Jazz. Tonight, the Lakers allowed 71 in the first half to a Clipper team that didn't have Paul George. Their defense is what's gotten them in this amazing run since the trade deadline. But the last 2 games, I thought I'd see a little bit more from that, Geek. I'll tell you what, you know how he said today was the game of the year? Yeah, that's over. Now, Friday,
I'm moving on.
Friday's the new biggest game of the year. They play Phoenix here in L.A. I'm not sure what Phoenix is going to put out there. They might have 4th place already sewn up at that point. But you got to make sure you win these last 2 games if you're the Lakers. You don't want to get caught by Minnesota and let New Orleans pass you and finish in that 9-10 place, James. That means you got to win 2 games just to get to the playoffs. So it's really imperative the Lakers beat Phoenix here on Friday.
I think Brez brings up a great point because you still control your own destiny in a way because 5 is gone. That's okay. But 6 is still a possibility depending on what the Warriors do. But at the least, Rob, you want to win your next 2 so you're at home in that 7-8 game. That is crucial.
You just want to win because you get a little break. You know, in this team, of all the injuries, you need that rest period. And plus, you need some practice time.
But now you need a little help, right? You need the Warriors to lose also.
But you also, need that time to gel even more because this team is gelling. I know y'all was worried about these last 2 games and the points they've given up. I'm not worried about that because you're going on the last game of the road trip. You're in Utah. There's a capable team that can score. And then tonight, you come off, on the back-to-back and you play a hot Kawhi. You run into situations like that in the NBA because there are guys that in the NBA that you don't think can score, but can score. And so I'm not worried about that, but I'm just worried about them staying healthy, getting ready, and getting their legs on because that Phoenix game is going to come up quick. So I just need them, it's coming up quick. So rest them legs and, take tomorrow off and then come ready to play on Friday.
All right, let's hear from Darvin Ham. He speaks with Mike Trudell in the media.
Darvin, what did you see as the biggest reason for the deficit in the first quarter and then eventually at the end of the first half?
I mean, the trip we just came off, you don't want to use excuses. Sometimes they're not excuses. They're just real-life circumstances. And we knew in order to make a game of it and give ourselves a chance, we had to start the right way. And, obviously getting in very late, dealing with some different types of weather and different elements, it was going to be tough. And so, but still, our group was competitive. The game could have been easily over in the first half. But again, we calibrated at halftime. Guys came out, competed their butts off, tried to give us a chance to win, and we didn't come away with the W. But I'm super duper proud of our team on the way they performed tonight after getting down and facing a little bit of adversity within the game, but also just over this last stretch of weeks and month, whatever it's been. Guys just constantly fighting and clawing, and we've mishandled a couple games here and there in terms of allowing teams to stay close or get back into it, whatever. But nonetheless, this is a prideful, competitive group, and we had some things that just didn't go our way, and it was definitely a lack of energy at the outstart and lack of execution. But we pulled ourselves together to try to give ourselves a chance, and that's all you can ask for.
Ty Lue played Kawhi, I think, 43 minutes the whole second half. Was it difficult for you to think about trying to match some of that by extending AD or LeBron, considering the back-to-back and 3rd and 4 nights and things along those lines? Yeah,
we went over, but they got into a groove, and you just try to be as responsible as possible with your players' health. So it was no way we were going to allow it. We were going to be able to do that, and our medical staff was going to allow us to do that. So they did what they had to do to get a win, and we did what we had to do to give ourselves a chance to win, not only tonight, but to keep our players in good standing health-wise going forward.
You said, so there was a minutes limit tonight for LeBron and AD. Was that kind of?
Range. Wasn't really a limit. Range, and again, it's a group decision. We try to manage and be responsible with their rotation early on, and if we pocket a few minutes and dole out extra minutes in the second half, then we do that, and we did that kind of tonight. But it is what it is. The game's over.
There was, I think, with about 6 minutes ago, there was a timeout. You guys were down like 18 or something like that, and you kept your team in the game. Why did you do that? And then what was the value that you saw from that last 6 minutes together?
Well, just trying to give them a chance to compete. We had some balls that didn't bounce our way. Got caught in some bad positions defensively, had to foul. We were making a miss, and then we had some, unfortunate, a couple of nights without just watching the game, just trying to replay it in my memory. Had a couple of misfortunate offensive possessions, but we also had some moments where, we made some shots, and the guys' energy in their eyes said, let's try to give this thing a chance. But we talked about it in that huddle. Saying we want to give it a couple of minutes before we pull the plug to see if we can make a dent into the deficit. And we did that, but it's just saying you can't go back and forth with a team. You can't trade baskets. You got to get consistent stops, and you got to, make sure you get a foul, a bucket, both of those, or 3 or something like that, and keep your side of the scoreboard moving as well.
How did those guys, specifically LeBron and AD, come out of the game tonight? Physically, everything okay?
Well, they'll go through a normal post-game recovery and check in with the medical, but for all intents and purposes, they're fine.
And then Norman Powell had just a huge game. What issues did you guys have with him? And, you know, there's only so many options when a guy's that hot and that physical, but what kind of problems did he present for you?
I mean, just normal Norman problems. He can score at all 3 levels. He's tough. He can defend. He rebounds. He gets out in transition. He can handle the ball and make the right play, not only for himself but for his teammates. And, you know, he's one of my favorite players to watch and has been so since his Toronto days. And, you know, it's just he's one of the most underrated players in our league and a huge asset for them to be able to bring a guy like that off the bench with championship pedigree.
Anthony Davis got his 3rd double-double over the last 4 games. Let's go inside the locker room. AD is there with Allie.
AD, obviously health the main priority here. What was the process like mentally and physically as you ultimately set up to be able to play?
I'm just trying to see how it feels for the game. Physical standpoint, mentally, obviously I haven't played back in a long time. So just mentally getting prepared to try to play, not showing how the foot's going to react. But I was able to get through the game.
Do you feel like, as of right now, obviously, you feel okay?
I've been better, but I'll be fine.